They say you are what you eat, so I don't eat chicken feet. But I love me some of Grandma's pickled beets. Well, cut it up, put it in the pan, throw it over your shoulder and see where it lands right here in Farmer's Kitchen. Maters, taters, beans and corn, the cows in the barn and the sheep's been shorn, kids in the barnyard chasing Grandpa's chicken. Chicken. Spices, slices, cuts and dices, gonna slash your grocery prices right here in Farmer's Kitchen. Help you grow your garden good with recipes to suit your mood. Try some grub you've never tried before. Smash it with a wooden mallet. Gonna educate your palate. Right here in Farmer's Kitchen. In Tim Farmer's Country Kitchen. We're gonna cook something good now.
Funding for Tim Farmer's Country Kitchen is brought to you by L81 Bottling Company. Taste, love, and share the tradition. Harvest Energy Solutions. Harvest cabins when you absolutely have to get away. Kentucky Sheep and Goat Development Office. Try something different tonight. Salt Rocks, the flavor of life. Good Foods Co-op, Marksbury Farm Market, Weisenberger Mills, Your Village Shop.
Hello and welcome to Tim Farmer's Outdoor Country Kitchen. Today we're joined by Chef Bill Hawkins. What's going on from
Nice
the
to see you
Bluebird?
again.
There are people who have gifts. Everything they make is magic. And if you made toast and jam, it would be better than other people's toast and jam because you have a gift. You're a chef. But man, you've got an interesting past. And you used to work in Memphis.
I did.
Tell us about it.
I did.
But not just Memphis. The cool thing about Memphis is the king.
The king. The king is Memphis. And I had the wonderful privilege of opening a nightclub with Elvis Presley's Memphis, their nightclub on Beale Street in 1997.
Wow.
And I spent 5 years with them.
That's so cool. And you had access to people who actually cooked for Elvis.
Well, I had the opportunity to meet Pauline Nicholson, who worked in Elvis's mansion. I say worked, she really lived there with him a lot at the time, served them food, got to work with him, and she talked to me.
Baby. Take the sandwiches to the jungle room.
Exactly. And she talked to me about the way Elvis ate. I had an opportunity to work with her one night at Graceland. This is really what I want to talk about. She talked about meatloaf and pork chops and burgers and peanut butter banana sandwiches and all of these things, and we took these ideas and kind of reapplied them back into the restaurant. So, you know, it was really Pauline Nicholson that gave me my education in that genre of food, or in Elvis food.
Wow. Speaking of that, we got a Dutch oven warming up, 350 degrees. If you check your guide, you'll see that that's 17 coals on the top, 8 on the bottom. Anything that you can do in the oven, you can do in a Dutch oven outside. It's too hot to be inside. It's even too hot for our cowboy hats for our cowboy cooking segment. So we're going to talk about Elvis's meatloaf that she made.
Well, and I think this is really kind of a fusion there, because we talked about Elvis and we talked about the meatloaf, but we also, you know, I wanted to challenge you with this cowboy cooking segment. I thought, you know, of course we can do roasts and stuff, but can we make a meatloaf? That seems like kind of a delicate baking technique. So here we go. Anyway, Pauline, she said meatloaf is ground beef, first and foremost. And then the next most important ingredient would be some bacon fat in there. And we've got some bacon fat, we've got some Worcestershire, we've got a couple shots of Tabasco with just a little salt, pepper, garlic. The overwhelming theme to what she counseled us on was we were overthinking all of this. He ate simply. You know, we think of him as the king, but he was overwhelmingly, what she told me was he was a simple man that liked simple foods. Mm-hmm. So the whole idea was to simplify it. We've got onion, green peppers, celery, carrots, red peppers. Some of that I couldn't help but chef it up a little bit. She really only had onion and celery in there. I had to have a little bit more. So we'll add that in, a little bit of breadcrumb, and just kind of eyeball that.
Just enough to work it into
burger. But that's the interesting thing right there. A little bit of bacon fat.
The bacon fat. She was big on the bacon fat. That was a must-do. And a couple eggs. And of course, you know, us being who we are, this is all local grass-fed beef, all organic, locally raised, pasture-raised chickens and eggs. Now we've just got to mix it up, and I'm just going to get in there as we're outside. I don't have any of my appliances, but that's how she would have done it as well.
Stick your hands
just
right
stick
in
your
it.
hands right in there and mix it up. So we're going to get it all folded and mixed and formed into a loaf.
Elvis lost his mom. I think she was 42. I think he died at the same age she did, which is amazing. But do you think maybe that he looked at her as his replacement mother?
Well, you know, obviously I couldn't speak of what Elvis thought because I never met him, but Pauline definitely thought of him as a son. And she said that she would call him her white son and he'd call her his brown mama. And I think definitely there was that familial relationship in a home type setting, because Graceland's, I don't know if you've been there, it's very much a home.
Oh yeah.
You know, you don't think of these palatial mansions and everything that they have now. It's very much a home. And you know, you had a kitchen. I got to cook in that kitchen.
Wow.
And that's how I met Pauline. I was called out to the property because she was an elderly woman then. But I got to cook in that kitchen for a private party Lisa Marie was doing that evening, and it was really wonderful. She was a wonderful, nice person.
No, let me see. Lift that meatloaf up. Oh, you've been working it here. It looks beautiful.
I've been working on it.
I can almost eat that raw. Look at that.
Meatloaf tartare.
What's the final touch here you're going to put on it?
Ketchup. Ketchup goes on top of the meatloaf. We put a little bit of molasses in it, or as around here, we would do a sorghum to tie it into Kentucky. But it's just a ketchup and molasses, and we'll just baste the whole outside of it with that. An alternate would be bacon or bacon grease as well, but we wanted to temper that a little bit with and the tomato gave it a wonderful color.
I'm just going to let you know, I'm kind of starving. So really, we got this up to 350, and you got how many pounds of meat there, would you say?
That's about 1.5 pounds meatloaf.
So this is going to go fairly quick at 350.
It should. I'd say we're done in 20, 25 minutes.
I tell you what, I'll do the pulling off the top. Are you brave enough to toss it in there?
I'll toss it in and baste it.
All right, Bill, here we go.
Oh yeah, that's hot.
Yeah, we got hot.
All right.
Listen for the sizzle. Yeah!
Oh, isn't that nice? I only cracked it in one spot, and then we'll just glaze it.
What is it about cooking outside that everything just, I don't know, is it just your mind playing tricks on you, or does everything really taste better?
I think it absolutely tastes better. Look at that, isn't that pretty?
Isn't that a beautiful thing? Look at that. Now, we have something that we call the dinner train. We haven't done this too much, but if you want to climb aboard the Tim Farmer Country Kitchen dinner train, we're going to be at your place at the Bluebird
Awesome.
on July 23rd. Now, this is probably something you want to call ahead and get reservations for, because I anticipate there being quite a few people there. Come down and join us for a night's dinner fit for a king.
I think you know, the guests will love it as well, because like I said, you know, what Pauline taught me about cooking for Elvis is really applicable to our clientele as well. It's Southern food, it's comfort foods.
food.
We'll do it with what Bluebird's known for, locally farmed products, natural foods. We'll fuse the two things together, and it'll be awesome. I think it'll be a good time. I appreciate you coming out and working with us.
It's always fun. It's always fun coming down there, and what's even more fun is smelling it. It's seeping out. Do you smell that?
Yeah.
I can smell your peppers. We're going to have to take a look at it here in a minute. You want to take a peek at it right now?
I think it should be about ready.
We're getting close.
Oh, yeah. That smells nice.
Look at that.
Little Elvis Presley style meatloaf with a molasses and tomato glaze.
Oh, man. Look at that. Tell me that's not meatloaf perfection right there.
That is beautiful.
Look at that.
Now, what we would do in the restaurant is we'd just ladle a little bit more molasses tomato right over the top again. Tim, I am amazed at how well that thing did at meatloaf.
Isn't that something?
That is ridiculous. This is great.
You like this, don't you?
I love this. I'm amazed. I really thought I was picking something that would have been, you know, the Dutch oven defeater, that we weren't going to be able to do it, but it did a perfect job.
Oh, anything that you can do in the oven, you can do out here. And this savory flavor is what the king would sit in the jungle room. Would she let him eat in the jungle room? I wonder if he did it.
I don't know. I don't know.
You know what, now we took a week off because John got sick. But what do you think about the beginnings of our smokehouse over here?
Oh, that's cool. I've always wanted one. I've wanted to build one myself. I've been watching so I can learn how to do it.
Here's step 2 with our buddy John Akers. John Akers is back. You know what? I'll leave you for 2 minutes and you're getting work done.
Yeah, no, that's the only time I can do it.
You got the pad poured. And the last thing we saw was you putting that first layer half block on. Now, when I came up here, wow, let's talk about this right here. You've got your block, 1 layer block, mortared in.
That's our flue, running from our hot box, bringing our smoke in. Okay?
Right.
And all of
These
them
are just fire bricks you put in between.
Those aren't fire bricks, those are just regular lime block, lime brick and lime
Okay.
block. But they're just to contain my mortar that's going to be poured inside that hollow block, back up as a solid mortar bond all the way around that flue.
What's the length on this flue?
It's a 30-inch flue liner.
30-inch flue.
And that's a flue liner. Typically goes inside a block.
Gotcha.
So what we're using right here, it's going to be our feeder tube.
Mm-hmm. That's where your smoke's going to come in. That's to give the distance, to not have a lot of heat, but roll that smoke right on in.
Our fire will stop in that liner right there, and our smoke will continue on up in here. When we get this set up, I'll run another course on top of it, the last course on top of that. That'll be ready for our plate, for our walls to go on. Then I'll start your firebox right at the end of that flue.
So, I mean, this is really not complicated engineering right here.
No.
I like where you're going. All right, so I'm going to stand back, and you're going to do your extra layer block right around here, right?
Yep.
Very simply, I see where you're going there, and I really like it. You got your flue right here. This is going to be our hot box out here. You are going to come back now, and you've poured concrete up to about right here, and you're going to put, what are you going to put in here?
The next thing we do is set 4 anchor bolts to hold our plate down for our house.
Gotcha.
So we'll anchor that into those anchor bolts, or we'll set next time. I'll put that last course of block in there, and that'll be our flat plate. And then we'll pour pad, just like we did here, we'll pour pad over here,
out here
to start our firebox on. We'll start the inside with fire brick. We'll layer the outside of it with regular brick, just like we laid inside there, to case the outside of it, and then we'll cap it off with a nice big flat stone anchored off of that. We'll set the door in it, and you'll have your hot box and you have your flue. The next thing we'll do after that is raise the roof.
Build the box.
Yep.
And you know what? I mean, this is substantial. This is going to be here. Like you said earlier, jokingly, it's going to take a tornado to knock this thing down.
Yeah, it'll be here longer than you will.
Stout.
So, yep.
You got your couple hams ready to cure?
That's part of the deal, right?
That's what I'm talking about.
Okay.
I'll hang them up here for you.
I'll have
I
them
won't
ready.
touch them either when they're done.
Yeah, I know. You'll have to test them, but I know.
I'll see you next time.
Thank you.
No, thank you. Now let's head out from the farm off to the Alpaca Ranch. Let's go to Richmond and check out River Hill Ranch. Alvina Maynard, farmer extraordinary alpaca. What you've been? This is a ranch.
Rancher.
I like
yes,
that.
Sir.
You gotta like that title.
Yes, sir.
You know, we've been roaming around here looking at stuff. Your husband's been putting fence up, and I've been looking at these guys. I've seen these from roads, different places, and I'm fascinated, of course, by any animal. I just got to tell you something. I went to one of our local favorite stores that we really like, and I picked up some ground alpaca from here. I took it home, didn't know what I was going to have, but as I was patting the meat out, and I've dealt with all kinds of meat, I smelled it, and it had a nice sweet smell to it, absolutely no wild flavor. Put it on the big green egg, put a little salt, pepper, garlic on it. You saw it. Put it on the bun. It was like, wow, this is really good. Well, I had never really pondered these animals before. I knew that they used them for fiber, so on and so forth. Now I'm fascinated. And now Nikki wants one or two. Tell us about how you got into this crazy, cool game that is alpaca ranching.
Well, a divine intervention.
There you go.
God's plan is better than any plan that we could come up with ourselves. I wanted to get back to the land, and I wanted livestock that would be good with kids. And I wanted something that was fun and unique and different, and I'm a little weird. I'm okay with that. And so I started looking into alpacas, and every single product that these animals produce are high quality. So the fiber is really phenomenal. The meat is really nutritious and healthy. The compost is really great.
I saw big piles of compost.
Yes, sir.
Can we get graphic here, not to interrupt? But they have a unique habit of dutying in the same spot.
Yes.
I'm thinking I got to get some of these and put some straw in there, and you got automatic compost.
Compost pile built in. Yes, they communally decide. That's part of their social behavior. They decide where their toilet's going to be.
I like that.
Yeah.
Okay, now back to the ranching. I'm sorry.
No,
I've got to
okay.
think about the compost stuff.
Yeah, they're only 100 to 200 pounds full grown, and they have padded feet. So my daughter has been kicked, poor thing, square in the chest before, and while it startled her, it didn't hurt her.
Right.
You know, so I can have my kids out among the herd and not have to worry about them getting hurt. And we love them. They're funny critters. They're fun to watch.
They make noises like animals on Star Wars, I've
They
noticed.
do.
And Jurassic Park.
Jurassic Park, yes.
Very
dinosaurs.
unusual for a Kentucky fella who's, I've been around the world, but just unique. And when you take their fiber off, and we'll
Yes,
talk
sir.
more about that in a minute, they're not nearly as big as you think they would make. They have a neck like a camel or a giraffe.
Right, well, they're cousins to camels. There's part of the camelid family. So llamas, camels, alpacas, and a couple wild species called vicuña and guanacos are all part of the same camelid.
In their native
family.
land, what are they used for? All the things we use them for
The
here?
same here, yes. Yes, in the terminal market of meat, leather, furs, all of those things are a byproduct of the fiber industry. And it just so happens that even those byproducts are really great quality items.
So are they picky eaters? They mainly go for the grass or like the weeds?
Their favorite is the grass.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Now, to find out more information about, and we're going to get to the fiber. We haven't got to the fiber yet. You know me, I'm a carnivore. I'm talking about meat. But to find out more information about these animals and their byproducts, if they want the meat, how could they find you?
Probably the most up-to-date is our Facebook page.
Gotcha.
It's 3 words, River Hill Ranch on Facebook. And the website is www.riverhillranch.us for United States.
Since we've got these cats in front of us, does this one have a name?
This is Patty.
Patty.
Yes, Patty was stuck in birth.
Aw.
And so our vet's name is Patrick, who came and helped me pop her out, and so we named her after him.
Patty has obviously had a haircut recently.
Yes.
Now let's talk about fiber on these critters.
Well, the fiber it comes in 6 different grades. Grade 1 is the most amazing, luxuriously soft fiber you've ever felt. And it goes all the way down to grade 6, which makes the most amazing rug fiber that you've ever felt in your life. It is hypoallergenic. Alpacas don't produce lanolin like sheep do. And so most people are allergic to lanolin if they're allergic to wool.
Wool has a tendency for some people to really, just the nature of that will itch you as well. Even
Yeah,
if
wool has barbs
Right.
on it, and alpaca doesn't.
How do they react when you take their hair off? Do they like it once they...
Different ones take it differently. Some of them scream the entire time. They pee on themselves. They spit at you. They just go nuts. And some of them are like, that feels good.
After they're done, do they seem to be like, oh, this is better?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. There's 2 different kinds of alpaca, which give you 2 completely different feeling garments. Wakaya alpaca is warm and fuzzy, and it's really lofty. And Surrey alpaca is cool and slick, much more like silk is. So two very different kinds of fabrics, but both have those same qualities of being hypoallergenic and super soft.
Now, you've been around animals your whole life. How would you describe the personality of an alpaca in a small paragraph?
They're hard to equate with other animals because they're so different.
They are odd.
They're standoffish mostly. The ladies will become more friendly when they're looking for lovin'.
Good thing they can't go hang out in bars.
Yeah, exactly, okay. Exactly.
But you said once they get pregnant, they're liable to spit on you?
Yes. We spit test our girls to see if they're pregnant. We bring in a boy, and if she spits, screams, runs away from him, then she's probably pregnant.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
She's like, get out of here.
Yes.
Interesting. So electric fence, mighty important.
Very.
To be able to take these guys and move them from pasture to pasture.
Yes.
And this is a heavy grade, looks like and they learn pretty quickly, I would imagine, that that's not something I need to be around.
We had one animal that tested it. Thankfully, the entire herd learned from that one mistake.
All right, let's talk about the meat and the nutritional values. I'm sure there's been plenty of research. I've already given it the big thumbs up. I'd give it 2 if I could. Tell us about the nutritional value.
Well, it is high in protein, high in iron, lean, and low in cholesterol. So if you have high blood pressure and your doctor tells you should probably not eat red meat, you might be able to cheat a little bit by eating alpaca because it's a beef alternative that's really low in cholesterol. Pretty much the only thing out there that beats it is emu in terms of health and nutritional value.
Well, I've tried the emu, and I would go for the alpaca every time.
We would too.
You know what? I want to thank you so much today for taking us out and showing us around and really cluing us in on how much and how many things, byproducts, come from these guys, including the doo-doo, which I'm going to take a load of. Thank you for the tour around the ranch.
Thank you. And if anybody else wants to come out, and we do have tours by appointment. So
Facebook page,
give us a call.
You can see these girls in person, and some guys. They're over on the other side making weird noises.
Yes. They're calling to the girls.
That's
hey,
right.
where
Hey,
you
baby.
at?
Now, wasn't that cool? I guarantee you next week we'll be having some alpaca on the menu. And don't forget to check out our Facebook page, Tim Farmer's Country Kitchen. Like it. Also, timfarmerscountryKitchen.com for some recipes and some things you might not have seen before. We have hundreds of things on there. We're approaching the 2 million viewpoint. And don't forget, it's about good times, good friends, and good eats. See you next week.
To order a cookbook or DVD of the show, please call 502-319-0487 or email timfarmerck@gmail.com.
Special thanks to Furniture World Superstore, Kencove Farm Fence Supplies, Tater Knob Pottery and Farm.
Funding for Tim Farmer's Country Kitchen is brought to you by the City of Stanford, Kentucky. Come back home to Stanford. Woods Equipment Company has every tool you need to make working the land as rewarding as hunting it.
Edward Jones, this is Shirley speaking. How may I help you? Oh, hey Neil, how are you? How was the trip?
With nearly 7 million investors,
Right here. Hold on one sec.
you'd expect us to have a highly skilled call center.
Kevin, Neil Hawley's on line 1.
Okay, great. And we do. It's how Edward Jones makes sense of investing.